Welcome back. Here we are. Follows and Bates 8-inch roller hand mower. Assembly day today. So it's in kit form. And I think I've got everything to put it together. So the last video was roller and welding. I'll show you what I've been up to. So since the last video, I've been actually quite busy actually. So the roller, yeah, I'll show you what I've done. I'm going to get my camera lady to come in. So I set about the welds with the angle grinder. You can probably just about see some of them. And I've used it before. It's quite good, some of this liquid metal filler. But I think in hindsight, I should have just ground it and left it, because you can see it's quite smooth and the roller's fairly pitted. So really, I suppose I should have just sort of left it and just painted it. But anyway, the paint on there it's a satin black, so it's quite dull. That's not a crack, by the way. So it's quite dull. So I think it's, you know, it looks okay. So the inside's been painted. The axle's back in there. And as I said, this one doesn't have any pulls, being an early machine. So, without further ado, let's start putting it back together. So we've just got to work out very quickly the way it goes. So looking at it, that's going to be the right-hand side. That's the left-hand side. The cutting cylinder and all the drive gear are going to be on the right-hand side. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. So, I think we're going to start with the bottom blade to secure it. These little coach bolts, you can see, with that one I've actually put a bit more of a chamfer on it, but because they're quite tight, you can see the other one there, we've got a little bit of a, so we've got that there. Once I've got this in place, then the rest of it will be a little bit more stable. So let's put some copper slip on the bolts. The bolts, what I did with those is I cleaned them all up and I heated them up, and then I've sprayed them again with a satin paint. So I think they look okay. So. Looked like the bottom carrier here was originally painted red, so I've done the same thing. Same with the other side. I'm just going to tip it up. Bolt in, coach bolt I think it is really. As you do, and you leave everything loose till we've got it more or less together, and then we'll start tightening things up. So, right, so let's get roller in. So again, we've got the drive has got to go on that side, so we'll slip the roller in. I don't think these little roller brackets, I think they're the same. So I'll clean the little slots up, so hopefully you can see they sit in the little casting like that. So I guess there's a little bit of adjustment on there. Let's put some oil on the axle. Start with that one first. Bolts. There. Fiddly. And then again the same the other side. Let's turn it around. obviously we cleaned all the little oil holes out as well, so that you can oil it a bit later on. I think probably those, we can probably just do those up. Swing them around. Right, so cutting cylinder in, so we've got the bearing blocks. As you can see, I've sort of marked them, so they're all going back as they originally came from. And then as we can see, there's a bit of wear there, so I would say that was the way the cylinder went, and that one I would have said should be up the top, so you've got your oil hole. So we've cleaned those up. We'll just put a little bit of copper slip. So we've got the first one there. Again, we'll just have a quick look. That's the way. So again, I think that's the bottom one. Sliders. Bit of oil on the bearings. I would think probably being the fact they look like they're cast, those bearing blocks, and I would think they probably need quite regular oiling. So we'll put a bit more in there. Put one down. Good, and we've got these little adjusters. What's interesting is, well, I've repaired that one there because that was the one that was broken. But it looks like they've had further problems because this one's actually made out of brass. So I would have said somebody's had that one recast at some point. Didn't need repairing though. Hello, let's put some copper slip on, me getting all excited. Other adjuster. That bolt there is an odd one, which is a bit of a shame, but you've got these nice chunky ones, which I will at some point. I'll try and find a chunky one to replace that one. Right, let's nip those up. A little bit of an odd size that. Good, right, so I think we'll just put the front roller on it to stabilise it a little bit anyway. So we've got that. As I said, I cleaned the rollers up. Little bit of, I think it was a little bit of oil I put on that. Linseed oil, that's what it was. That's what I'm looking for, linseed oil. So we've got that. We'll just oil the ends there a bit, because see they rotate there as well. There. And on either side, somewhere in my little pot. So I think it's probably that way. Let's put it that way. think I'm going to set it up fairly high just for now. Another spanner needed. Let's have a look what we've got here. You probably noticed I'm using a metric spanner here, a bit naughty. So we're getting there. So I think we're probably going to start with the handles. I marked the rods because it's always nice to put them back the way they came. So now, we've got that handle there. This is the fiddly bit. You need to be a bit like an octopus. Hopefully that's going to hold it there whilst I get these bolts in. It. That's feeling like it's got it. So this little roller scraper plate's obviously adjustable. You set it fairly close to the roller without touching. What I'm just looking at here is to make sure that as I'm tightening these bolts up, everything's lined up, because it's the sort of thing, I've done it before, when you disturb something, it doesn't always go back as you took it apart. Now it all looks quite good at the moment, everything seems, there's no gaps in it and it feels okay, so I'm just going to slowly tighten everything up. And hopefully I don't need the welder again. There's nothing worse than breaking something yourself. I think if there was, if something was out of a line and you could feel where you're pulling against it, I'd be very tempted to put a little shim or something in there. But I think in this case we don't need to. So, well, we're there. As I said, the handle grips were file handles, and I turned a little bit off there. I ended up cleaning them back up again, and I think they look more like mower handle grips now. So they're going to go back in there, so let's screw those back in. I will just tighten those up a little bit more when I'm done. So, right, let's get the gears on. Swing it round. So we've got 3 gears. I'm just going to drop it back a bit. Let it fall. So we've got one on the roller to go on, the intermediate, and the cutter. Now, on the cutter you can see we've got these little wedge shaped, and we've got the shaft that's got a flat on it. So the little wedge shaped key is to be banged in, but I've just left it in there, so we've just tacked that on there. Whilst we're here, I'm just going to set the cutting cylinder bearing roughly for now. So let's have a look. We want to come down on that top one. See how it works. It's quite a simple system, really, sort of pushing one against the other. Set for that side. Okay, so we find the flat. Just make sure that there's no oil on that. And then we're just going to knock that on there, so we line that up. Hopefully, it will have a mallet, so we'll just tap that on. Do that just for now. The rear one, same deal. We've got obviously our keyway cutout, and on the axle we've got the same thing. I've got the little key out at the moment, so that's so. Sometimes with these you notice, as with this one, the key is wider one end than the other, and I think it is this way, so that's the way it's going to go on. Put that on in my little bucket. I should have my little key here somewhere. So this is the offending item. Just going to tap that in. Let's get a hammer, a proper hammer. So just going to tap that in without smashing the camera lady. There we go. That's good. And as I said, the nice thing is you can see the intermediate gear, it's adjustable. I've left them loose. A little bit of oil on the shaft. Not sure whether it really makes any difference which way that goes. Anyway, let's see. Shove it on. So there we go. So that's that. We'll tip it back up. Get it back on its side, and then we'll just have a look where we are with it. I wasn't sure whether this was handed, so you probably noticed I marked it, so it's going back the same way as it came off. I think it probably will want a little bit of tweaking and adjusting. Right, okay, so yeah, it's binding a bit, so I think I feel a bit tight there. Let's just have a play with that. minute. It still feels tight there. Go all the way down. So maybe we need to go the other way. Going up a bit. Up a lot. So we need to set the cylinder up, so we'll probably do a setup day, set it up to cut on another video. Poorly fitting spanner. Good. That's better. Right, let's get the cover on. Now I think it's the gear cover that stops this coming off, because I can't see anything else to hold it. So let's get the gear cover on. So we want a short one for that, copper set there. One more for the rear, so let's have a look. Here we are. Should have sorted my spanners out a little bit better. Good. Right, so let's swing it round. I think I've got a little bit more adjusting to do on that gear. So, I think that is probably as much as I'm going to do tonight. It does seem to be about half an hour or so, and it takes too long to load up, so I think we're nearly there. Anyway, the next video is going to be set it up, get it to cut, maybe get that gear meshing a little bit better. That will be the next video. Paint, I hope you like the green. It was a satin green, and if you're interested, it's an RAL 6010, and it was a satin finish, so I think it looks all right. It's not shiny, and hopefully I've not really knocked the age of it off. It did seem like the lettering, you can see I've picked it out. It did seem like that was red, so we've done that red again. And I'm not quite sure whether to sort of varnish those. Let me know what you think, whether I should varnish those, put a gloss on those to match the rollers, or leave them as they are. And the other thing that needs doing is I need to make a thrower plate for it, and I'm assuming it's just a bit of tin that goes in there. So that's something I'm going to get on with, make that, and at some point we're going to have a go at making a box. So there we have it. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I hope you enjoyed the video. And the next one, as I said, it will be set it up, get it to cut, finish it off, and then we'll talk about a glass box for it. Thanks for watching.